Welcome, everybody, to our hour. Thank you for coming on to the most important call of your week. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming on again. For many of the faithful ones, happy to see your face again. For all those new ones, God bless you. For someone to pray, someone with their video up. Yoshika Nuna, would you mind praying?
Sure.
Thank you.
Dear Heavenly Parents, dear parents, thank you so much for this day and for, this entire beginning of the year so far. We've definitely witnessed a lot of great things happening throughout America and the world this past year, and now all the YAYAM leaders and young adults are gathered here together to remain connected to what's happening with Providence so that we can continue to bring the Spirit to our own communities. And I pray that we can create this space so that each of us can be inspired and ready to contribute even more and to love even more. We want to offer up this time to you in all of our names, and in my name, Yoshika Yamada, Durahatrinai Senchak Yomtan, the Central Basami, Aju, and
Aju. Thank you, Yoshika. Again, welcome everybody to Empower Hour. Today's theme is the pulse of the Providence. We are blessed to have both Reverend Dunkley and, of course, our National Chairman, Dr. Kim, is on with us today. And we're going to be hearing just a little bit about where we're headed as a movement, what's been going on, Famicon, and it'll be really exciting. So thank you, everybody, for coming on. Before we get into anything, we actually have, we're going to go first, and we're going to go into our Hyundake first, and then right after the Hyundake, we'll have Dr. Kim. So if I could turn this over to Jino to lead us in the Hyundake.
All right, good evening, everyone. Let's see. So it looks like, it looks like, I don't know if my computer is gonna work. So today's Hyundake is from, I don't know if you saw the Eyepiece TV, but True Mother is sharing words that are from the founding of the International Summit Council for Peace. So it seems like Eyepiece TV is going to highlight the work Mother's doing over the next few weeks on these different the different areas of UPF. So this week, Mother, it showed the words of the founding of the International Summit Council for Peace from 2019 and also from this year. So I'm going to read the Hyundake. So this is True Mother's words from 2019. All of you gathered here today are indeed historical figures. You are indeed the leaders and pioneers for the realization of peace. When all of you eminent people who are gathered here return home, please become national messiahs for your nations, so that all nations can become one family of true brothers before our Heavenly Parent. And the place where that can happen is precisely the kingdom of heaven on earth, which we are trying to build and which our Heavenly Parent is hoping for. This path to attend the eternal Heavenly Parent is the only path for humankind. I ask you to join me in building a peaceful world of one human family, attending our Heavenly Parent. And then her words from this year, 2020. Heaven will not bless human beings' self-centeredness. If every nation becomes our Heavenly Parent's children, no more wars or conflicts will arise. Now we know. Thank you. Now we know who God, the Creator, is. We also know what the mission of the Messiah is. Now what must we do? We need to take the path to become true filial sons, filial daughters, and patriots in front of our Heavenly Parent. And one more slide. Please remember that this is the only way and the shortest path to solve all the problems of the world today. It is my hope that all of you will be leading players who realize Heavenly Parent's dream and humanity's wish of creating the kingdom of heaven on earth. Yeah, so what struck me the most from these words is True Mother speaking. So this is a founding of it's called the International Summit Council for Peace. This is an organization that Mother has founded to gather together all the former and current heads of state all over the world, and also the first ladies. And what really struck me is I could imagine these words, I can imagine Mother sharing them at any kind of setting, any venue, because her message is the same, and she's really empowering every single person to be an owner of God's will and to take responsibility. And yeah, I think, you know, she speaks to the former presidents and heads of state and current heads of state, and she says, you have to be a Messiah for your nation. You have to go home. You have to be a tribal Messiah. You should be a filial son and daughter of God. And I think it's, you know, a lot of the miracles that we're witnessing, I don't think it's just because of, you know, the amazing strategy or, you know, we made the right contact at the right time. Yeah, this is a picture from these are all, everyone around this room is a former or current head of state or first lady. There were 122 people there in Korea. And I think what's amazing is it's not because of the right strategy or the right, you know, the right opportunity, but it's really because Mother's message is absolutely the same. And it's a universal message. And it's really, she is a person that God is working through and speaking through at this moment in history. And she's been so consistent and so reliable. And I think because she's been, you know, absolutely firm, it's like everyone around her is starting to realize, you know, she's holding the center. We all need to, you know, surround her, unite with her. And that's the point through which God is working. So yeah, we're, like Yoshka said in her prayer, I think we're seeing miracles happening, and it's really because of the heart and foundation of True Mother and her absolute dedication and commitment to God. So yeah, I'm excited to see. I think IPCV is going to be highlighting a lot of exciting things for the weeks to come. So that's it for our Hundake tonight. And we just have one announcement, which is, I'm sure most of you already know, but we have the regional Famicons coming up this weekend from Friday night, March 6th, and then finishing with Sunday service on the 8th. So if you're interested, if you want to sign up but you're not sure, just talk to your sub-regional YAYAM coordinator, sub-director, or your local pastor. And yeah, it's going to be the best place to be to really find out how we can contribute to America's offering for true parents. So that's it. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Janelle. Thank you so much for sharing every week the Hindake. Yeah, it's powerful to see how Mother does not waver despite who she's speaking to. She always speaks very clearly. And in that time, I think she was the most clear we've ever heard her. So yeah, it's really powerful. So we've been blessed today, specifically because we get to hear from the people that are really in touch with the pulse of the Providence at the moment. And I'm going to invite up next Dr. Kim to speak to all of us. He's on the call today. And what's so special about Dr. Kim is that you know that everything he's saying is something that he's practicing. And someone once asked me the question is like, well, what's the benchmark? What's the standard for this like filial son? What is it? Like, who am I supposed to look towards? It's like, oh yeah, that's what it looks like to be a filial son to true parents. I was thought about it. I was like, yeah, it's probably Bishop Kim. He's the closest we got here in America to getting that close. And I think like what Ginny was saying, because of his unity with Mother, the miracles we've been seeing in America have been possible. So it's incredibly exciting, and it's an honor to have him on. So if I can invite now everybody to unmute yourself. And if you can show your faces, so you can turn on your cameras, so we can invite our wonderful leader and coach, Dr. Kim.
Oh, I just came back from Korea without the coronavirus, so I am very blessed. And I'm happy to joining in this Monday night phone call conference. And thank you so much for your ongoing support. And I like to correct the Genius announcement, not you like or not to participate this weekend Famicon. I really wish everyone come join and support this Famicon, because you are leader of our community. So leaders should participate, and you lead people around your community. This is YAYAM leaders' mission and job. So don't think, oh, I am too young, I am second gen, or there are many elder first generation leaderships. No, think about the true fathers when he was 15 years old. He got already that true that Jesus revelation, and he got already God's blessing and commission. Please lead this world on behalf of heavenly parent, on behalf of Jesus Christ, my only son. So he been preparing 21 years, and then he started his own ministry as a true father and as on behalf of Jesus Christ. And think about, before he founded our church in 1954, already been thinking coming to America, Christian nations. So true mother's will, not just happening by overnight. It takes sometimes a year, it takes sometimes 10 years, but however, we need to prepare now at your ages. So true mother prepared this field. I really want to embrace all our second generations and their leaderships. They are tomorrow's our church leaders. Think about this time, true mother blessed her grandson Shin Chu and Shin Hung, and then with them around the 100 like a cadet. That our second generation under around 20, they joined together, same college, same class. So this is the true mother's preparation for next 7 years. So I really want to you to participate more actively our community in service and including Sunday service and this Famicon. And when we prepare from now, we will get there where God and true parents waiting for each one of us. So once again, I came join in, and I try to encourage each one of you, and you are great to hope, and you are our future. And God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. Aju. Man, thank you, Dr. Kim. Thank you so much for coming on. I love how strong and direct that message was. If you're hesitating because you think you're not a leader, you can go back to and imagine how old father was when he was appointed to his position, how old mother was when they were called to be the true parents of all heaven, earth, and humankind. And we can think that most of us, if not all of us, are older than that, and we've been called. And so if you're considering Famicon, please heed those words from our incredible Dr. Kim, and reach out to your local what you need to do is reach out to your local sub-regional coordinator, and if you have a desire, of course, they'll let you come, of course. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kim.
Thank you.
Another round of applause for him. All right, that's exciting. Okay, so the next thing that we have, and yeah, you'll notice Janil will be kind of sending out the names of who those sub-regional coordinators are. So if you are interested, please consider messaging them immediately or right after this call's over. So the next person that we have onto the call is our amazing president, Reverend Dunkley, who has also been guiding us and honestly protecting us for so long through his unity with Bishop Kim. Since coming here to New York, I've honestly, I didn't really know, living in LA, I didn't know anyone. I didn't really know much of what was happening over here. But now that I'm here and I'm in the offices and I see what Reverend Dunkley is doing on a daily basis, my respect and my love and my appreciation for all that he sacrifices for us has gone to a whole nother level. And when we cheer him on today, when we invite him on, I hope that we can have this sense of humility to receive whatever it is that God is going to speak to us through him today. So it's an incredible honor. It's a blessing, and how busy his schedule is. He's on here with us because he knows that we're the future. So let's all unmute and invite up our incredible Reverend Dunkley.
Thank you, Pastor Holmes. Good evening, everybody. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Dr. Kim, for your message. You know, sometimes Dr. Kim speaks after me and he says, oh, already Damien said everything I wanted to say. Also, this time, Dr. Kim spoke before me. Already Dr. Kim said everything I wanted to say. This is really the core message. I'm happy when I hear him thinking that what I was going to say, because I feel like I'm on the right page. And Janil, just one correction. You said I'm protecting, maybe 2 or 3 corrections, actually. Thank you. But first of all, I don't think I'm protecting. I think Dr. Kim is protecting. Dr. Kim is protecting because, like you said, you're right. Like he's living what he's preaching, and he's praying deeply and personally for everybody on the team beyond that which normally people would think. He's really praying for us all. And yes, he's connecting with True Mother, but I can see over the last 7 years working more and more closely with him. And I've mentioned this before to Dr. Kim. And I think it's not, you can't imagine it. If you're not really close, you don't see it, you can't imagine it. But I'm 1000% convinced, because of Dr. Kim and his unity with True Mother and his love for True Mother and his humility. He is not seeking, I don't see any kind of seeking ambitious way for himself. I'm sure no matter what Mother asks him to do, any kind of change, he's just going to unite with Mother. And he loves America. It's incredible. He doesn't love America because America is comfortable for him. He doesn't love America because, you know, we have more freedom, just something like that. He really loves American family members, and he's shared with us before stories from other leaders, how they see his special skill is to raise up the members in front of Mother and bring them close to Mother. So if Dr. Kim is protecting, maybe I'm connecting, okay? Because, you know, I want to every day learn how to unite more and more with my central figure, Dr. Kim. And I trust that God is going to then be able to work through me, and I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to be wrong, and I'm ready to learn. But I would say that's correct, that he's protecting and I'm connecting, okay? So let's go that down. We got a note from Dr. Kim. Yeah, we see more YAYAM leaders now. This is incredible. Thank you, Kaeleigh, for and all your team for leading this national team. Another correction I'd like to say: I don't see you as future leaders. Sorry, you're not future leaders. Maybe your children are future leaders, but you are leaders. All right. as is evidenced by the fact that you're on this call for starters. You are leaders. And that leads me to something another point I wanted to raise, which is this has been coming up in relationship to some of you. I noticed that there's sometimes a tendency to doubt yourself, to doubt ourselves. And what I would advise is trust absolutely that God is going to work through you. That is, if you are united with your central figure, that doesn't mean united with your central figure means you're nice to them and then you go and do everything your way. No, really try to understand what it is in their mind and heart that they're asking you to do. And know that you probably don't understand it fully, but seek to understand it fully and report as you go. And then trust, not 80% or 50%, trust that God is going to work through you 100%. God will work through you. I don't care, you're 15 years old, 35 years old. God works through the central figure, but your power is going to come from the foundation of faith, the foundation of substance. And that's worked out between you, God, and your central figure, right? So that's the magic recipe that I will echo. The other thing is that, Dr. Kim mentioned it after Janelle's sharing. If I ask you to do something that I think is the right thing to do, but I'm kind of inviting you to do it like, hey, if you want to, or, if you got time or something like that, how do you feel? You might feel I'm being kind, but I'm certainly not very impassioned. I'm actually not really sure of it myself. But if I ask you with 100% conviction, then at least where I stand with it, and then it's really, the ball is in your court. You're not second guessing it. So when I see mothers, like you mentioned, when I see mothers speak to world leaders and tell them, you need to be a tribal messiah, you need to lead as a messiah and save your nation, save your tribe, she is modeling for us. So it's the same way, all the way down into the system. When you, with the culture of heart, your mother feeds us very well. She plays wonderful music for us. When possible, she clothes us, right? But she's very clear what the objective is. She's very clear what she wants us to do. And I think we owe it to our team to lead with that kind of love and that kind of conviction. So that was the point that I was pulling out of the Hundoke as well. And you're sharing, Janelle, and Dr. Kim sharing. So, Dr. Kim mentioned this like 3 years ago in one of our morning meetings. He said, what is kindness? What is true kindness, right? He said, many people think that kindness is, nice words and hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. But he pulled it out and he said, look, yes, that's kind, but true kindness is when you tell somebody what they need to hear. And they might not want to hear it, but you're telling them what God wants you to tell them. And sometimes it's, medicine, right? So we know all of that. So let us be really loving. Let us embrace one another. Let us forgive one another. Let us lead with the culture of heart. That means we never have to be harsh. We never have to be cold. We never have to ignore. I think we can all every day get better and better at learning how to respect each other's sense and spirit and feeling and so on. But let us be really bold about where it is we're going, confident in where we're going, totally excited about where we're going. I know where I'm going this weekend. I'm going to Famicon Subregion 1, and we're going to host it at UTS. Why UTS? Because UTS, even though it's too small for us, it's bigger than Belvedere. And so we're going to cram that place full of all kinds of human beings. I don't even know if I'm going to be measuring anybody's age anymore. So we're going to cram that building. We're going to be totally excited. We have given Dr. Kim to Subregion 2, although he was supposed to come to our meeting because we won him in a prize. But we are going to be having the best time ever. Believe me. In fact, these days, the younger people are even more inspired than the veterans, because we are really leading not just with heart, but with clarity and vision, and we're inheriting everything from our elders. We're following Mother's direction. We're charting a real course that matters, and that's based not only on the culture of heart, but touches on all the areas that Mother is saying will make a difference. And I think for those of you that didn't go to the national one, totally, you're not allowed to miss the sub-regional one. In fact, don't speak with your sub-regional director to see if you can go. You need a personal signature from me, permission not to go. If for any reason you're planning not to go, you need to email me and ask permission. I've got this such and such situation, something like, you know, massive. I booked a trip over to the other side of the world to bless my tribe. Okay, that kind of thing, I might give you permission. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to get my signature. So I love you all. I'm looking forward to seeing you lead America, not just the church, America. You hearing me? Not just America, Chonilguk. You hearing me? We are not here gathered just to kind of maintain the church that we inherited from our parents. We are building Chonilguk. We're already in Chonilguk. We are the substantial building blocks of that nation, of that heavenly kingdom. And every single thing that we do with love and conviction is marching and advancing that kingdom forward more quickly. So don't doubt yourself. Unite with your central figure and trust that God is going to work through you. Aju, see you this weekend.
Aju, let's give it up for Reverend Dunkley. Dang. Aju, okay. Yeah, thank you, Reverend Dunkley, for that impassioned message and that very clear direction. Please email him for a personal signature if you cannot go for some amazing reason. But I really loved what he was saying about how we're living in a time where we need to stand with conviction and boldness, but also with love, with a lot of heart behind it, but only when we're united with our central figure. If our central figure has a direction, we unite with that, and then we can have conviction, absolutely, in where we're going. So thank you, Dr. Kim. Thank you, Reverend Dunkley, for coming on and for sharing this. We are Tribal Messiahs. We are not future leaders. We are the leaders. That's something that I'm still also trying to wrap my heart and my mind around, that all of what I'm doing here or doing in my ministry with the local church here, I'm helping to build a new nation centered on true parents and centered on God. And it's a vast thing to grasp, but we absolutely can get there. And if you're struggling at all, I highly suggest going to the Famicon. If you're even more so, if you're struggling, that's why you should be there more than anything else. So you can tap into really what's going on and where we're headed. So that's really exciting. Thank you one more time, Reverend Dunkley. Thank you, Bishop Kim, so much. Yeah, so what we're gonna do next is, we have some extra time, is I'm gonna invite up our incredible, also our leader, Kaeleigh Nuna, who's gonna share a little bit about her experience being at the National Famicon. And she was kind of like this main person making everything tick and work. She was working with her team, of course, but it was this unique opportunity where the YAYAM leaders, for all those that were there, that you saw it, but the YAYAM leaders alongside our elder first generation brothers and sisters, we were working very symbiotically and together with everything. It was a really powerful experience. So I want to invite up Kaeleigh to share now, so we can all unmute and give her a round of applause.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kim. Thank you, Reverend Dunkley. Yes, I'm actually grateful to be able to share my testimony. I think it's really relevant to what both of them were sharing about. So those of you who have heard my testimony from Korea on Empower Hour, I was sharing that I was really striving to create unity with True Mother. I felt like that was really important for me in this role. And what I walked away from that experience with was the realization that actually my faith is so small, and it was like this repentful heart that I was so needy, and that I wanted to be bigger and brighter than where I was before. And so doing Famicon this year was different for us, because in the past, every January, we've had a YAYAM retreat. We've had a regional YAYAM retreat last year, and we didn't do that this year because after our experience in August in the summit, you know, Reverend Dunkley has been pushing us so much to not see YAYAM and young leaders as this separate bubble, this separate group of people, but that to really bring us in line with all of our leadership. And I really struggled with that point. I heard, but I didn't, you know, totally understand. It's taken me a while to get here, but we have arrived now. And so when we had this opportunity to do Famicon together, side by side, it was, you know, a little bit scary, a little bit unfamiliar. The way that things are done are different than how we usually do it, and we're bringing, you know, different ways of approaching things than how Famicon usually runs. And so it was really fascinating, actually, to have our, you know, our core YAYAM leadership team. You know, Mari was directing it. We had Tasna and now Kimi and myself, and then we had the SRDs, the sub-regional directors. And you know, so actually it's very significant to be working side by side with my uncles, and really coming to trust them, and at the same time feeling their trust for me and for our younger leadership. And what I walked away from this experience with was the sense that there's no division whatsoever, that we are one united leadership team, that YAYAM isn't this side thing, that we are a part of this leadership team that's leading America. That's the theme of Famicon, is America leading. And you know, over time and time again, feeling really humbled as I'm, you know, I had such a blessed opportunity to be so close to these incredible leaders, and really seeing them as people, you know, as they're sharing about individual people that they're talking to, and they really care so much about people in their regions. They even express so many times a little frustration about having to have so many programming meetings during Famicon, because they just wanted to spend time with their people. That was like this mantra I kept hearing from them. And it was really significant to witness that kind of heart from our leadership. And yeah, so just really beautiful unity. I want to thank all the young people who came, who totally showed up, you know, inside and out, and really brought the energy and had deep conversations. You know, one evening we had this devotion service where we had a senior pastor, a young leader, and we had a ACLC pastor up there sharing their appreciation and encouragement for each other. And got to give Sarah Jackson, you know, a shout out. She gave this beautiful testimony that just like brought me down, tears, losing it, sharing, you know, her appreciation for first generation. And she even shared so deeply about her father, Reverend Jackson, you know, really thanking him, and, you know, apologizing for us not showing up until now, but wanting to fill the big shoes and lead in this way. So I share all of that because I want to give encouragement that this is the time for us to take those leaps and to go outside of our comfort zone and trust that our uncles and our aunts are ready for us to show up. They're so ready for us to hold hands together and walk this course together. And so I came, you know, I really struggle. Reverend Dunkley was sharing about this point of what he notices working with young leaders is the doubt that comes in as young leaders. And Reverend Dunkley has digested his fair share of doubt from me. I feel like every time I've checked in with him or reported to him, it's been full of doubt, and it's been full of questions and not feeling sure. And he has spent so much time raising me up and helping me to see myself from God's perspective, at the same time really challenging me in the same way. And man, have I grown so much in the last few months. And so even working alongside him during Famicon, really growing and learning and feeling so grateful for our leadership, you know, how much they sacrifice, and realizing, you know, he made some comment about the stamina of a YAYAM team. We stay up until 2 in the morning meeting and getting things done, and then we still get up for Hundake at, you know, 5:30 or 6 the next morning. And he made some comment which is really accurate. He was like, you know, you go back to your home. I have this, you know, big yard and lots of space, and I always talk about how I can breathe here in my beautiful home, but these guys, they don't get to do that. As soon as they get back home, they're right back in it. Their schedule hasn't changed. They're sleeping just as little. They're having just as many meetings, just as many people who are craving their attention, or they want to share their criticism to, or whatever it is. These guys are constantly surrounded by it and do not get a break. So I really grew my appreciation for them, and also really realized as the young leaders, we need to figure out every way possible to protect and uplift our leadership, because they're carrying so much for us. And yeah, I really saw that, being able to work so closely with them this time. So, you know, I've been praying for them, but even more now, I'm praying for them constantly, and really trying to figure out how can I, as a young leader, comfort them and ease their burden, and try to think, you know, what he was talking about, really try to understand what are they thinking about, even before they ask me, you know, what do they need from me right now? That's the kind of heart that we need to cultivate as young leaders. And I find that the more that I do that, the more whatever I'm passionate about, or what I'm excited about, or my offering can be accepted, because I've made the effort to really understand as much as I can what Dr. Kim is thinking and what Reverend Dunkley is thinking. I've done the work, and because of that, my offering can really be accepted. A lot of times we have this feeling of like, oh, well, my ideas aren't being accepted, or, you know, my point is so important, they need to hear my point. I feel that all the time. That's been like my mantra for the last 5 years. But I've learned this last year how important the word attendance is and what that actually means. And it's about becoming, you know, so one in heart with your central figures, that you understand them so much that your natural inclination of your offering is aligned to them, because you understand their heart. It's not about like winning their approval or getting them to sign off. It's this artistic unity, and that's where the magic happens, you guys. That's where the real culture of heart comes to fruition. It's not just about accomplishing things, but it's this familial feel. I really walked out of Famicon feeling like, man, those are my uncles, and man, do I love them. I just want to hug them and hold their hands and pat their backs and do whatever I can to let them know that I love them and I appreciate them. And so I came out of that experience just feeling so joyful, so proud that we had arrived, that we had gotten to this place where, as young leaders, we were a firm part of this movement, no longer this like separate side piece of the Providence. And yeah, really, I had another experience during Famicon where I was again doubting myself, and I found myself retreating into my insecurity. And I realized, you know, almost painfully, that I hold back some things that I have to offer to the world because of my fear of other people rejecting it, or being hurt by me, or, you know, maybe I'm shining too brightly. Whatever it is, I realize that I've been holding back to be able to be my true self and make my true offering. And I realize actually how sad that is for God, who is my parent, who created me this way and is waiting for me to not hold back anymore. So if there's anybody out there who feels that way and has the doubt, I really want to encourage you that now is the time to fully embrace who you are as a young leader, because God built you for this time. God is working through you, and it's magical. I don't know a better word for it, but I feel just so full. And this morning I woke up with a really beautiful dream. I don't actually have those kinds of, you know, spiritual dreams very often, but I had this very clear dream that I was in Korea and I was watching True Mother speak, and you know, one of those big audiences. And out of nowhere, True Mother invited me to come up stage, and I felt very uncomfortable. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. That's like one of my fears, like what would I do in that scenario? What would I say? I have no clue. I'm really bad at, like, you know, Korean traditions and that kind of like vertical attendance. I'm very American, so I'm still learning in that realm. So all of that is happening for me as I'm coming up on stage. And True Mother like jokingly looks at me and is like, you know what you're supposed to do. And I'm like, I don't know. You know, she clearly has faith and confidence in me, and I'm still not getting it. I'm still not like being like, okay, you're right, True Mother. I do know what I'm supposed to do. And so she says, you know, come give me a massage. And so she lays down on a bed, and I'm starting to like awkwardly massage her, feeling like, holy crap, I'm massaging the only begotten daughter. What am I supposed to do? This is weird. And like she lifts her head up and she's like, you know, she teaches me, she's like, remember, this is the spot that hurts, and this is how you massage that spot. And so I start to massage that spot, and it's all of a sudden this confidence comes in me. And I'm like, oh, actually, I'm really good at massaging. I do know that this is the sore spot for True Mother, and I do know how to work through this tension in her back. And so I'm giving her this massage, and it's, you know, my confidence is growing. And then at the conclusion of it, she stands up and she looks at me for a long time, silently, and eventually she leans her head forward, and you can imagine like two foreheads touching. We're just like, our foreheads are touching, just sitting there for many minutes with our eyes closed. And I woke up from that dream feeling so peaceful, feeling like you know, I know who I am, and I know why I'm here, and I know who True Mother is. And I'm so grateful to be alive. And now is the time for me to lead with confidence and not be doubting and not be afraid. And, you know, True Mother needs that from me and needs that from us, to not question and to not doubt, but to lean into our absolute faith and confidence so that we can really bring our offering. Yeah, and that dream for me is not just about me as a person. It is. I've been on quite a journey to come to this point, and I feel almost reborn in some sense. But I also feel like that dream was about us. It's about YAYAM stepping up. I mean, just this last year, you guys, we have grown leaps and bounds. We have been challenged. We're still being challenged, but we are delivering and we are rising to the occasion. And it makes me so proud of my brothers and sisters. So that dream is not just for me. Please feel that True Mother is looking at you also with full confidence and love, saying, you know what you're supposed to do. I have confidence in you. So I'm really excited. No idea what's coming next, but I'm so ready for it, and really grateful for the National Famicon, excited for Regional Famicon this weekend, and grateful to be walking alongside all of you guys in this amazing time that we're living. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaeleigh. Our incredibly deep and sincere older sister. Thank you for, yeah, beautiful is the right word. Thanks, Reverend Dunkley. Yeah, I think, yeah, anyway, we're very grateful. Of course, I think I can speak on behalf of everyone on this call that the three leaders that we've just heard are really showing us the way in this time that we're living in. And particularly Kaeleigh's talking about embracing who you are and what you know you have to do, and what we know how to do, and what we're totally capable of doing. It's like we all think we don't know how to massage, but when we start massaging them, maybe we need a little bit of support, right? Mother shows us how to, but at the end of the day, we know how to do it, and we're prepared for that. And yeah, I think it also speaks to, additionally, like what Reverend Dunkley was also saying, and that it's time now to stand with conviction and confidence. So yeah, thank you, Kaeleigh, so much. Thank you. So speaking of having confidence, having conviction, and really stepping up and just really embracing, there was one sister in particular at the National Famicon that really blew everyone away in her testimony that she gave and she shared. And I remember just sitting there and she's like, wow, it was like kind of like my first time seeing her. And then even I think someone came up afterwards and was like, yeah, I don't need to speak. She can just speak. Anyway, she's a really incredible sister. And this will be our last testimony from tonight about her experience at Famicon. And really, so it was Damien. Reverend Damien came on and he was like, yeah, she could just give the talk. So please, if you can help me invite up an incredible leader, an awesome sister, Kai Myoyongo!
Kai.
Go, Kai!
Thank you, Josh. I really appreciate that intro. But yeah, I'll just talk briefly about my experience in Famicon. A couple of highlights. So it was really nice to see other YAYAM leaders and young leaders there. That gave me a lot of confidence. And also just seeing Christian clergy and ministers, how like they were pretty much on board and they responded well to what we're doing. And I also saw the pastor and his wife from Jersey, where for the Young Tribe event back in December, we visited his church, Reverend Sykes. So it was really cool to see him and to reconnect with him. And also another reverend from our sub-region from Indiana, she recently kind of joined our church and like first started off going to her local community in Indiana, participating in worship, and then she was invited to all these different events. She said she went to New Jersey for that event in December. She also went to Chicago back in October last year, and also went to Korea last month and was in Vegas. And I'm pretty sure she's going to go to our sub-regional event this weekend. So yeah, it was really inspiring to hear from her that she is excited and empowered by what we're doing. And another highlight was also game night. Game night when we were competing against other sub-regions. It was so nice to connect and bond with the older generation, the older and younger generation. And it's important to have fun as well too, as leaders. You can definitely have fun. It was super fun to do that. And I'm really hoping that we can do that in our sub-region as well. So yeah, and also a bonus thing that I really appreciated was that I got a chance to get a taste of CARP Las Vegas, because I've been wanting to go to different CARP chapters, especially Las Vegas. And it was a nice way to like end my time there. So yeah, and for me personally, I am stepping up in my own local community in Minnesota. And here is Karen. She's a youth leader here. And I'm working closely with my pastor, and I'm not in school, so I definitely have the time and the ability to focus on my own community. And I really appreciate all these different events I've been to. I've been able to bring more to Minnesota. And we also heard that a young couple moving from Iowa, they'll be moving up to Minnesota, and he's a professional, the husband is a professional pianist. So I'm so excited that we have this chance to really grow like our worship service, like music ministry, and really create like an impactful atmosphere in our local church. Also, another opportunity was a Christian movement called Pulse, movement of young leaders. They started in North Dakota and in Minnesota as well. And they want to reach out. Their target audience is the young people of America. And they host their events at different churches. And they asked to join our church. They asked a couple of times actually, and now we're ready to have them host their event. And we have a chance to also introduce ourselves too. So that's very exciting. We're also wanting to maybe start a CARP chapter here and other things too. So like, yeah, we got our hoodies like yesterday. So anyways, yeah, it's really exciting. My own, it's nice that like we have this momentum and so many things going on in Minnesota, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. And for too long I was comparing our community with other communities like Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Colorado, knowing that they're doing a lot of things, and kind of was tempted to move to those communities. But I know now that I have the capability to do a lot in my own community and have Minnesota flourish as a community as well. So yeah, I think overall for me, the Famicon event was an encouraging encouraging experience, if I were to put in one word. So yes, thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Kai. Man. And a lot of love on the chat. Wow. Awesome. Thank you, Kai. This is from Reverend Dunkley. You are a blessing to Subregion 3 and Chanyeoguk, and you're too cute. And someone says, Ju, thank you for striving to be such an empowering role model. And then, yes, your epic line at Subregion, at the Famicon, when you were very confident, like, I am a leader. And we all, I think everyone, I agree, we all were kind of like, yeah, that was it. I think it could really embody, honestly, that statement probably embraces and embodies what Famicon was all about, especially for us as young people. So thank you for representing us and for sharing some of the cool things that she was saying, and was talking about how there was ministers there at Famicon. And yeah, it was actually really inspiring to see. We don't see that. Usually these kind of things are like, oh, it's just closed off for us. But there was actually quite a few ministers who stayed after attending an entire 7-day or 5-day workshop. And they stayed for the Famicon. And having them there, it's like a whole new thing. We're really embracing our attitude of that as a family federation, we're really here for the entirety of the nation. It's not just our in-group here, but our Christian brothers and sisters and beyond that. And then another really exciting thing she was mentioning, how it's just like things are opening up for her community. It's like we look at all these other communities and we can get jealous, but really if we unite and we move forward with conviction in the way that it is, God is going to open up these doorways. And that's the case for all of us. That's not Kai's unique situation. She's just showing the direction that is going to be true for all of us. So it starts with going to Famicon, which she just described. It was actually really fun. It wasn't just getting fed guidances and lectures and this kind of thing, but particularly there was lots of celebration, lots of clarity and direction, and also just time to be there as a community. So just as a time for you as a subregion to get really close and strong like a family should be, and that we should be. So if that's another incentive for why you want to go, if all you needed to hear was, yeah, is it going to be fun though? Then this is perfect. Perfect. Yeah, so thank you one more time, Kai. And again, thank you to Bishop Kim. I don't know if he's still on, but of course, Reverend Dunkley, and to Kaeleigh Nuna for your leadership, Kai for your leadership. And if we're inspired and excited, please, right after this call, get in touch with whoever you need to get in touch with so that you can get a registration for Famicon. And Famicon's critical. We're heading into 2020. We're already in 2020. We're a month in already. So let's get this going. And so, yeah, I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for coming on to the Empower Hour. You guys are all leaders. We're excited. We're empowered, quite literally. And yeah, just really happy. And thank you and grateful for everything that you guys are and that you guys are doing and all the effort you're investing. So God is happy. Your parents are happy. Let's do it. And we'll see you next week or at your Famicon. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.